am flying in from Cleveland and I'm sorry for the delay. If you have been here, please accept my apologies. We're here. We're going to start. I would love it if you could go into chat. Please tell me where you're calling in from. This is going to be interactive today. I would like to help you build something worth really getting excited about, the gold mine pipeline. I'm going to literally help you. Hi, Tracy. We're going to go through what you can do right now. Fourth quarter push starts today. I know the fourth quarter doesn't start technically until October 1. However, my suggestion to you and to everybody is that you develop a plan right now today that you can take you literally into January. Imagine having listings and sales and income rolling in January and February. So purpose of today is to say, hi, Kevin, good to see you. Brian Kelly, I see you. Tyrone, some of you have been here before. If you've not been on before, just say hi to me so I know where you're tuning in from. Tell me what company you're with, what city you're in. I see Megan. Hi, Tyrone, good to see you. Sandy, and I also see Mary. And yes, if you are engaged with me literally like this, you're going to get so much more out of the call today. It just works, right? I know you're listening. I can tell. I get feedback from you that actually helps me. I would love you to take out your pen and pad of paper. And on the left side, I want you to write down aha things, like aha moments that you're having. Okay. Any aha moment. You put on the left-hand side, any action item that you're actually going to implement or that you want to implement goes on the right-hand side. So the right-hand side, I need it to be action items. If you are in, I see Eric in Virginia. I think I have a lot of, I think Long and Foster people on here, if I'm not mistaken. I'm recognizing all of your names. If you are just joining us, we're recording this. You'll get a live, or not a live, you get a replay of it. We are going to get started. My goal for this session is to have every Thursday an opportunity for you to get coaching and get a mastermind topic, a masterclass on some topic that I'm covering throughout the world. So we are doing a lot of AI right now. I'm sure if you're doing AI, raise your hand if you're actually implementing ChatGPT into your business right now. If you haven't, that needs to go on the right-hand column. ChatGPT is going to save you thousands, I mean, like a lot of thousands, right? Like, I mean, it could save you $50,000, $60,000. It's a new digital assistant for you that will save you time, save you money, and it will create all the things that you just don't know how to create right now. Postcards, campaigns, a buyer book, literally everything that you're struggling with can be done with AI and ChatGPT. So you need to put that on the right-hand side. If you have questions about specific AI, I'm happy to help you. I also know that most of you don't have a full enough pipeline of leads. We've got an exciting summit coming up, a 3-day challenge that I'm going to be promoting. You can join that. It's 3 days. It's 2 hours a day. It's going to launch your gold mine pipeline for you. First, we'll do like a webinar. You can join that. And if you're interested in the summit, you can get tickets for that. It's a 3-day summit. We'll be posting that in the next week, what the dates are. That will actually walk you through exactly how top agents that we coach launch their gold mine pipeline and continue it and actually leverage everyone in your pipeline, in your database, everywhere, so that you can actually sell more houses and hit your goals and actually work less. So if today's session is, I'm going to pull up the slide deck here in a minute, but I want you to think about, what do you have in the pipeline? Do you have people in the pipeline? Do you even have a pipeline? Most agents are operating under I have 2 to 3 people, right? So thank you, Sandy. Good luck. If you have 2 to 3 people that you're giving your time and attention to, and that's it, and you fill your week with 2 to 3 people, and they don't materialize in that month, we know what happens, right? You have a 0 for the month, and that's not good. And we can't afford to have that. So filling the pipeline, having 20 buyer leads, 20 listing leads is going to catapult you into success. I guarantee that you have, 10 people who would move in the next, get this, 2 months to 2 years. Okay. So think about this. If it's 2 months to 2 years, that list is probably easier for you to put together. Am I right? Like you could find 10 people, Eric, that are going to buy or sell, or, just sell. Just put the names of the people who would potentially sell in the next 2 months to 2 years. When you put that list together, then I want you to say, are they staying in town? Are they moving out of town? 80% of them are staying local. So we're just going to say all 10 of them are also going to buy a replacement home for you. So obviously, with 10 seller leads, 10 listing leads that are also going to buy, that's a total of 20 potential transactions, right? And I'm guessing some of you have the average sale price, by the way, in the country is $516,000. It's kind of mind blowing, I think. Think about this. I'm going to use that number. Okay. If you're higher, modify. If you're lower, modify. Okay. Because what I want you to do is take out your calculator and say, okay, Sherri Johnson, 10 leads at 500,000 is instantly a goldmine pipeline of sales volume of $5 million. Right? I think y'all could do that math pretty easily. 5 million in listing leads only. I'm not talking about the buy side yet. I'm just talking about the list side. And so think in terms of giving each lead a monetized value. Like they're going to buy 400. I'm listing their house for 250. They're going to list 400. They're going to buy the 550 to 600. So every single lead, please, goes on this goldmine pipeline. I'm going to have Liz drop the ebook. You can just click on this and request a copy of the standard original format of the goldmine pipeline. We have advanced copies of this that our coaching clients get that has digital calculations, and it will auto calculate for you. But the original, the OG format of the goldmine pipeline is all you need to get started. And once you kick this in and you map out the people that you're going to look at as good opportunities and leads, they will materialize. Your biggest problem, okay, is that you look at everybody and you make a decision about whether they're a good enough lead or not. How many would admit that, right? Like you go, oh, they're not ready. I'm not calling them. They're not ready. They told me it's 6 months to a year, right? Well, the 6 months to a year people go on your goldmine pipeline. Every single possibility lead goes on the pipeline. I had an agent tell me the other day, she said, I don't have anybody solid. 15 minutes later, she had $15 million in her pipeline. Okay. All of a sudden, I sound like the Geico commercial. 15 minutes, you have $15 million pipeline. But think about it. She was discounting, she was ruling out anybody who was going to buy or sell 3 months and more. The entire point of this is to build a pipeline of future business. So, if you're taking notes, the future business goes like this. I know I need business in November, right? It's August 28th. I know that everyone on this call needs listings and sales in November. And when you have a full pipeline, people will shake out into a motivated, ready to go buyer or seller in the next 2 to 3 months. That's the whole point of this pipeline. You look at this as a short game and you only give yourself, the 3 to 4 people that want to do something right now. They're in the now. And that feels gratifying because they seem to be the most motivated. In fact, there are coaches out there that say if somebody ghosts you after the third attempt to reach them, dump them and move on. That is not my strategy at all. In fact, the statistics show that 80% of the time sales happen after the fifth contact. So do not give up. And here we give up at 48% give up after the first attempt. First call goes out, you don't hear from them, agent moves on. So I was doing a session in, I think it was Fredericksburg, Virginia, at a company I was a coach for. And this woman looked at me and her face was red. And I said, "Why is your face so red?" She said, "Because I'm adding up all of the leads that I dumped, that I'm now adding up the sales that I would have had I not dumped them, because my other coach told me, my
Na
former coach."
classe no leston. I told you when I
So what happened is she was realizing that she had been playing the short game and she discounted all those people and moved on. Now, I don't coach you to make 300 calls a week. That's awful. That sounds awful. That's not, I mean, I guess you could do it if you like doing that, but wouldn't you rather work a list of 60 and work it really well with a better strategy? Yes, they will materialize. Okay. I know they will because I've done it. Now let's go back to our list. I have 10 listing leads for 5 million. Boom, $5 million on my pipeline. Those same 10 people are also going to buy. So that takes us to another $5 million in potential buyers, which makes our total now a $10 million pipeline. Now, if you've never done $10 million in sales and you put $10 million on your pipeline, I think you're going to feel like a rock star. Am I wrong? You're going to feel amazing. And you're going to say, "Oh my gosh, I can do $10 million. I have it sitting here in front of me." Now, that only took 10 clients, right? So 10 clients that are buying and selling. We separate them on purpose. I want the buyers on one list in the goldmine pipeline, sellers on the other. So listing prospects go on one page with the amount of each house and their time frame and their motivation. Then buyers go on the other side. Okay. Now, when we separate them, you're going to have a better, more organized way to look at those leads. Now we're with 10 people, 20 transactions potentially, $10 million. I'm going to pause because my really awesome friend and great coach, Jill Katzenberg, commented, "It's not only the people in the pipeline, it's all the people they know who may have more urgent needs who can be referred to you." So think about this. Like, you have your own pipeline, right? And you know people on that pipeline who have other friends, family members, referrals, etc. So let's say you have a friend who says, "Hey, my neighbor wants to sell their house." This happened to me. And I was in Chagrin Falls where I live, and there was no way I was gonna cross the street and be obnoxious and like ask this guy for his neighbor's name. Right? I just said, "Yes, of course I'll help her." Right? Which is what we would all say. "Yes, of course I will help her." Then what I said was, "I'll text you." Okay. And now what you have to put on the calendar, and you won't put it on your calendar because you will forget to call this guy. His name is Josh. And I put on the Goldmine Pipeline, Josh's neighbor, 650, Canyon Lakes. Now, Canyon Lakes is between 500 and 2 million. She could be in a $2 million house. I don't know. But I do know this. I want to remind myself to call Josh. So the referral goes on the pipeline, right? The referral goes on the pipeline so that I look at the pipeline and say, "Oh, that's right. Josh's neighbor wants to sell." And I will not forget, and you will not forget, to call the referring source. How many of us, be honest, you didn't follow up with somebody and you saw the house listed in the MLS? Yeah, it sucks. And then you didn't follow up, or you said, "Oh, here's a good one. Here's one that you always say. Well, I didn't call them because they weren't serious." Yeah. Hi, Ann. So when we say things like, "Well, I didn't call them because they didn't, when I talked to them, Sherri, they said they weren't going to list for 6 months." Well, guess what? Someone else went in there, got an appointment, got them excited, and they changed their plans. It doesn't mean they pushed them to sell earlier, but if you're not looking at the people who are 6 months to 12 months out, this is why you have the income roller coaster ride that you're on. The roller coaster ride you're on is real. It's crisis selling. It's not fun. It's really not fun, right? You sell a house, then you don't sell a house, then you sell a house. And that exists at all production levels. That's not just, I've been in the business 2 years, I'm struggling. No, it exists if you're at 10 million, you're on a roller coaster ride. Same one. It's just at 10 million. Okay. The breakthrough that has to happen for you is that you need to re-engineer the way you look at the lead and the way you put it on the pipeline. Because when this woman said to me, I don't have anybody solid, I still get a kick out of it. I said, oh my gosh. Her name was Sean. I said, Sean, this is awesome. You don't have anybody solid. Tell me what you mean. Like, define solid. And she said, well, they're not gonna they're not solid. They're not ready to go. They're not people that are gonna buy right now. I said, brilliant. This is all what I needed you to say. And I said, I'm looking for people who would buy in the next 2 months to 2 years out. Do you have that list? Do you have people in your database? Do you know friends, family members, past clients, etc.? She said, yeah, well, when you say it like that, I could come. I said, could you come up with 10? She said, yeah. So we did on the call. And here's what happened. I said, what if, and her company happens to have Sherri Johnson Academy at her fingertips for free. So they pay for it for their agents. And so I said, go into the academy. And the whole purpose of Sherri Johnson Coaching is to help you generate more leads to put on the pipeline. So if you think about it, if I gave you 15 to 30 ways to go generate more leads where you don't have to pay for the lead, you're not buying a lead, you're not paying a referral fee on it. It's a really massively different way to do it. Think about if you're buying leads and you're not making 3 times what you're investing in buying those leads, it's probably not, that's not a good investment. So you can do this business organically the way we teach it, which is to leverage every listing to sell 3 to 4 to 5 more houses off of every house. Doesn't that sound awesome? You list one house and we're going to teach you how to leverage that house to sell, 3 to 5 more houses off of it. But she looked at it and I said, so Sean, can you go into Sherri Johnson Academy and pick 3 lead generation strategies you're going to implement to get another 10 clients that are going to both buy and sell? She said, yeah, I can do that. I said, great. So as of the moment of the end of the call, it was a $15 million pipeline with an average. I think she had a 480 average. So I ask you, like, how many leads do you have like that? How many leads have you been sitting on that you haven't talked to because they're not ready right now? Okay. This isn't the time when you say, I don't know if I'm getting this. That's not the list. The list we're making right now is literally all possible people. So whether they know and they've told you they're selling, or you just happen to know because you're intuitive and you have a client list. If you've been in this business 3 or more years, like pull out the client list. And if you've been in the business 10 or 15 or whatever number, pull out the client list. You can add people from the client list of homes you've sold. You look at their names and you put them right onto the goal made pipeline. Are you with me? That is exactly what I want you to do. So that's an action item to write down, which is this. I'm going to go through my entire previous sales list of clients. Please stop calling it a past client list. I know they're past clients, but they don't have a past realtor, right? So you want to be their realtor for life. If you are a CPA firm or an attorney, you wouldn't call it your past client list. Call it your client list, right? So that's how we're going to call it, the client list. You have an awesome client list. You have a referral list of friends and family, people who refer you, and you have your pipeline. So you could add people straight off, like right off of the list of people you've sold homes to. Circle their names, put them on the buy side, put them on the list side. Their house is too big. Everyone's moved out. They've graduated college. Like you know what's going on with these people. Their family's expanding and their house is too small. They change jobs. I mean, there's always some life event. Your past client list needs to go right on this. So please take it out, make that a priority. Another way to fill the pipeline, by the way, is to go through your phone. Now, I break this down in this 3-day summit, this 3-day challenge, and we're literally going to go through that together on the 3-day challenge in putting it pen to paper. But right now, if you were to go through your phone, how many unengaged leads do you have? Go through your cell phone, go through your text messages, go into your laptop and look at your emails. I guarantee you, you have unengaged leads. You are sitting on a gold mine. And so let's imagine with the woman that I did the phone call with Sean on. I said, so you have a $15 million pipeline right now. Now she didn't realize that she wasn't supposed to like limit the list to like who wants to buy right now. Such your first breakthrough. I want you to realize that you don't stop looking at the timeline that you think the person is on. I've met people at open houses. I've gone to their house on by Sunday to Thursday. I go see their house on Thursday when I said, I know you're not moving for 6 months. I want to come and see your house now because I add more value at the front end. I can help you with the repairs. I can help you with the staging. I can save you time and money before you call a contractor, before you try to do it yourself. I know what today's buyers like and what materials you should invest in and what you should not invest in. So you need me now. By saying these value added scripts, these value added talk tracks, you get the appointment. You go to that house on Thursday. And the person who said we were going to list in 6 to 12 months, you open the door, they swing it open, and here's what they say, everybody. We're so excited we met you. We're gonna list now. We want to sell now, right? That happens. I'm not making this up. That happens. When you meet people where they are and you play what I call the long game, you will never have a crisis selling business again. You will actually have what I call predictable and consistent income that goes like this. You can go from inconsistent to 5 grand a month to 10 grand a month to whatever. What if you could go from this inconsistent thing you're on that's incredibly stressful to having a full pipeline of leads where every month you have people falling into A-level status? Wouldn't that be fabulous? That's how we take a $3 million agent and turn them into a $10 million agent in less than 9 months, in less than 12 months. So what has to happen is you have to put the pipeline together. We had an agent who was a part-time agent for years, like 8 years. And in his first session of Goldmine Pipeline, right, in 1 hour, he realized he had $9 million of potential business. That's a lot for someone who sold 2 houses a year for 8 years. It's 9 million bucks sitting there just at the first write-up of it. And this agent walked out to their car after filling it out, and he got in his car and he sat there and he was going to start the car, and he decided, you know what, I might as well go back in the office and call these people. Within 2 hours, he had 3 listing appointments. And that week, he listed those 3 houses. And within less than 3 to 4 weeks, he was like, I have an $18 million pipeline now, Sherri. I'm quitting my job and I'm going to do real estate full time. That is what can happen for you. Now, if that's not your case, you're not part-time, you've been doing 5 to 8 million a year, wherever you are, go my pipeline. It doesn't matter what production level you're at, and it doesn't matter how many years of experience you have. I find the most everybody benefits from it. Teams, everybody. So a team will go from 140 million to 200 million in 1 year because everybody goes on the pipeline. And when the team leader realizes they have, this actually happened. I had a team, they were at 140 million and they said, we're never going to clear 200. And I said, and she was like sad and disappointed and depressed. And I said, oh, we're going over 200 million. And she's like, you're so confident. And I said, yeah, I am actually. Everyone's filling out their pipeline right now. We did this in person. I collected the pipelines, you guys. The total team collected pipeline was $231 million. And the team leader was like, we're going to do 200. So take that same concept and put it to yourself. You don't realize what you can do until you map this out and put it on paper. And I'm going really granular today on this, but it just, I think I recorded this webinar this week, and then I just gave a talk in York, Pennsylvania this week on Tuesday to real producers, top agents in Harrisburg and York, Pennsylvania. And I gotta tell you, like, I know what your problem is. The scarcity problem you have may not be your mindset. It might be. You might have a really like abundant mindset, but you're like, why can't I make this thing work? And the problem you have is a lack of leads. You just haven't monetized the leads. You don't think they're good. And the industry taught you that, actually, I'm sorry to say. Like, the industry told you what else? The only way you can sell a house is through the MLS. That is absolutely not true, right? You all know people who are living in a house that might sell if you brought the right offer, right? So if we changed your mindset on a few things, one being that you have to have a pipeline. And when you build that pipeline, instead of sticky notes and a whiteboard, I love a good whiteboard. I love whiteboards. I love lined paper. I sat in my condo and I wrote the Gold Mine Pipeline out in 1996 because I literally had 5 sales my first month, 4 of which came from one house, right? And then it was a listing I had. Sold it myself at an open house. The people who bought it had a house to sell. I sold that. And then I picked up a buyer and sold that. All 4 sales from one property. That's partly why the micro farming strategy that we have works, because you can leverage every single listing into more sales. But as you sit there and like, I didn't know where my next 5 deals were going to come from, right? You have one good month, then you have a bad month, right? Who relates to this, right? It's like you have one good month, you sell some houses, you're like, thank God, you know? And then the next month you're like, this is horrible. What I see agents do, that's a huge pitfall and a really bad habit, or it leads to, and it is part of crisis selling, is that you get some sales, right? Those 3 people buy or sell, and you're like, yes, finally. And you spend 6 weeks, you know, diligently following up, doing the home inspections, getting them to closing. The last one closes, and you come up for air and realize you don't have any new business, right? And you're like, I have to start over. So it's the starting over part that is horrible, right? It's like that's part of this. Got to start over. So if you were to always keep a pipeline of buyer and listing leads full, you will always have business every single month. That's just how it works. You know, go from 0 to 10 or $15 million in a couple of days by just putting every single person you know. Every single person you know goes on this list, whether you've had a conversation with them or not, whether you think you're getting it or not, right? I love the one where people say, I don't want to tell you about it because I don't want to jinx it. And I'm like, that's not this list, okay? I want the entire list. I want you to put every name down. You might think like your cousin's moving. They haven't told you yet, but you know they're going to move. Every single possible lead goes on here. So go to open house sheets from 4 to 6 months ago, pull those names. You have leads. I promise you, you have probably 2 to 3 times what you're used to selling you have in leads. There's a phrase I say, you might have heard me say it, called opportunities aren't lost, they go to someone else. Whew. Opportunities aren't lost, they go to someone else. They don't just vanish. Like, they don't just disappear. That buyer or seller that you didn't follow up with 4 months ago is probably buying or listing their house, potentially now. That's not fun. So stop discounting the lead as not good. Put everybody on this. If you have not done it, download it. I'll ask Liz to put it in the chat again. The goldmine pipeline will solve this problem. You will never miss an opportunity again. The goal of this is to have you realize that people are where they are. They're buying, they're selling, they don't know what they're doing. They're kind of in the red zone. I mean, moving is stressful. Nobody wants to think about having to get their house ready for sale. It's the worst thought possible, right? Except for we're going to buy a new house, right? And the new house is what's going to excite them. So please write this down. 82% of sellers who meet with an agent, right? 82% of the time, they pick the first one that comes through the door. So someone who says we're not moving for whatever, 4 to 6 to 8 months, that's okay. I'm not going anywhere. However, it's never too soon to start the conversation and have me over. I add a lot of value on the front end. I can do the same for you. I know I'm not coming to list your house, but we'll have it ready for the fall or whenever, the spring, whatever you're going to list, right? But you need me now. Get appointments with the people who I would call are B and C level people on your pipeline. Why? Because they are going to materialize into a listing or a sale with you. That's how it works. I mean, that's how it always works. Okay. They will materialize. You have to be the one to maximize that opportunity, though. It's not just going to happen. Your follow up, you adding additional value, right, is going to change that for them. And that is part of why I think agents, like I was just on a podcast yesterday for a national, a guy who's actually a partner of mine, and he's got agents all over the world, and his name's Brent, and he said, "What's the difference between an agent that is successful and an agent that is not? What is the difference? Like, why does that exist? And you've coached agents, you've coached thousands of agents. What do you see?" And it boils down to a couple of things. One, you can't wait for it to happen. If you're waiting for it to happen, right? I don't have time to sit around and wait for maybe someone to respond to a postcard. I don't have time to do that. You might have time. I don't have time. I need to have appointments right now. So successful agents make it happen. That's different than waiting for it to happen. Okay. Having a relentless, tenacious goal. Okay. Saying to yourself, I have a plan for the fourth quarter. My fourth quarter is starting right now. I'm not waiting till October 1st. Okay. If you can start right now, what does that look like? How many units do you need to sell between now and the end of the year? And can you make that happen? I have a philosophy of I will until. Will you do whatever it takes until something happens? Now, fill in the blanks, but my best advice is I will blank until I have 3 listing appointments a week. I will do blank until I have 3 listing appointments a week. If you like the sound of that, please write that down, and then I want you to do it. The reason I want you to do it is that massive action, high energy, high action, and high results. High energy, high results. Low energy, low results. If we're sitting around waiting for something to happen, we're going to be sitting around, okay, like this. I don't have anything. I understand. So you need a 10x action plan. Write it right now. Start by filling in your gold mine pipeline. When you fill in the gold mine pipeline, what is going to happen is you're going to feel like the rock star that you actually are. I remember thinking, oh my God, I can be a $10 million agent because I have it on the pipeline. I can be a $20 million agent because I have it on the pipeline. Okay. If you're in a slump, this will get you out of a slump. If you're just starting out, this will kickstart you into high gear and high results. If you are a top agent and you want to build and scale, this system will scale you. So, there are lead generation strategies. We have them in the Sherri Johnson Academy. They're there. we teach them in group coaching. We teach them in one-to-one coaching, wild results. What you track and measure will improve. And so, I always say the last quarter. So you may or may not know this, but the last quarter of the year is the second best quarter of the year. We know the second quarter is typically our best quarter. Second quarter is the best quarter because it's the spring market, right? First quarter's not, third quarter's not. We know August, September, ugh. But that's not you. You are going to maximize this last quarter. See, every September, I would make it this 4-month push. So if you adopt this 4-month push with me right now and you say, wow, it's August 28th, September 1 is around the corner, it's Monday, right? I'm going to have a plan to maximize the next 4 months. I'm not waiting for the fourth quarter start date. I'm starting the fourth quarter a month early. And then you do massive action. 10xing things is way different than 10% increase. A 10% increase is on 10 is 1. We go from 10 to 11. A 10x increase, 10 times 10 is 100. So the more you focus on better activities and being hyper-focused and intentional about what you're doing every day, now that might require you to change something. Get up earlier, go to bed earlier, write a plan the night before, time block the money hours. Maybe you're saying yes to things you should be saying no to. That's one thing I know. We see agents, they have a time management issue. And the reason you have a time management issue is because you're literally just crisis managing. What if you were to play more offense, meaning you were able to implement the things Sherri Johnson told you to do and get them across the finish line? The phrase done is better than perfect. And so if that's a video you're trying to do, or you're trying to get testimonials and reviews, send it. Send it, get it done, move to the next thing. The thing you have to do the most importantly, is probably the thing you fear the most and you're procrastinating on. That's probably lead generation and prospecting and filling your calendar with appointments. So I want you to go, I'm going back to my I will until, because what happens when you have a mentality of I will until? When you say, I'm going to do X until Y happens, like I can't end the day until I have 4 calendar appointments. Sometimes agents like to say, I want to have 15 conversations with people about selling or buying. That works for me. As long as you're tracking that. The conversations lead to appointments. The appointments lead to a signed contract. Okay. And this is why you have to just be hyper vigilant about this. I will not stop. What does that mean? Well, one of my agents said, how many calls do I have to make to get 4 listing appointments a week? And I said, I don't know. How good are you at converting those calls, right? So do you have a really effective strategy to convert the call? If not, you're going to make a lot of calls and hope somebody says yes. But if you can overcome their objections during the call, you're going to get to a yes. And not only a yes, you're going to get an actual appointment. And the whole goal, like you have to do right on the right-hand side, appointments make sales happen. 0 income is going to happen unless you book yourself appointments. So before you sell a house, your number one job, and you're going to be mad at me, is to book appointments. Like that's it. You're an appointment setting person. That's your job. I'm laughing, but I'm 100% serious. If you already have appointments, fabulous. How many do you have? Where's the next deal coming from? Agents will say to me, well, I have 6 closings. I'm like, that's awesome. Where are the next 6 coming from? And they say, I have no idea. That's crisis selling. It might sound good right now. I have 6 closings, but I don't have consistency. I don't have predictability. I'm flying by the seat of my pants. I mean, this is like real life conversations. And some of you know, because that is what happens when you just do what's coming at you. If you're on if you're on defense, that's what's going to happen. If you're playing offense, you're going to be in control of your schedule, control of your life. You are now in control of the commission you make based on the value you bring. I was just having dinner with an old friend of mine in Cleveland last night at this really great place in Cleveland Heights. And we're talking about how today, with the buyer agency changes, you have control over what you charge people. We never had that before. That's a win. 2 years ago, I was like, this is going to help you, agents, not hurt you. So how do you look at things? Are you going after appointments or are you hoping they happen? Like, I will until means I will make it happen until it happens. Like, I'm not done for the day. If I make 25 calls and I don't get 4 appointments, I have to keep making calls until I get 4 appointments. That's what that means. So you cannot skip out on this. This is like the part where the rubber meets the road. This is the part that differentiates agents that make it happen and agents who are waiting for it to happen. So define your thing. What are you going to do that's going to change your business? And when I look at, making appointments happen, like I have this whole thing that if you literally just focus on listing appointments, there it is. If you focus on booking yourself listing appointments or buyer consults, I'm good with either, but the slide happens to when you focus on listings, the buyers will come. Like that's going to happen no matter what. When you list houses, you'll have an constant flow of buyer leads all the time. That will happen. So if you were to just focus on setting listing appointments, here's a tip. What if you were to just focus on doing one more unit per month in a certain price point? Let me say that again, right? One more unit a month in a certain price point means you get to decide that you're going to raise your average sale price. Like you could do 12 units over a certain number. I'll give you an example. My average sale price right now, let's say, is 500,000. I want to sell, Sherri Johnson. An agent will say to me, I want to sell, in a higher price point. So my goal for you is to pick that price point and say, I want 12 listings in the next 12 months. Doesn't matter, we're in August. From this August to next August, I want 12 listings over 900. Okay. The other ones can be 500 or 600. I'm good with that. What if you were to be that crystal clear on a goal? Can you make that happen? Absolutely. Absolutely, you can make that happen because you now have a goal and you're hyper focused on that one specific goal. How do you get listings over 900 if you've never done it? Well, you got to change your mindset first, right? You're going to make twice as much commission. And now you can, if you want, increase your units too. Or you can, like, I have agents who are like, I sell less houses and I make 3 times as much money. Okay. Whatever works for you will be what I'll tell you. But start by saying, I want X number of 10 or 12 over 950, right? We're talking about $11 million of the pipeline right there. Or if it's 10, it's $9 million. Can you do that? Yes, of course you can. You just need a strategy to do it. You need the micro farming for listings. How can you leverage one house and then the next house and then the next house? That is what's going to separate you from everybody else. You can do it. You just have to have the willpower to say, I'm doing it. I'm going to be disciplined and I'm going to show up and be held accountable. Accountability is funny. I like to say, let's focus on your results. That's how I hold people accountable. I use the word results. Let's talk about your results. Did you have any results? What was the outcome of your efforts? Not, I'm judging myself on the effort, right? I've had people say, well, I made 25 calls and nobody wants to sell. I'm like, I guess you got to make 25 more. Let's talk about something near and dear to my heart. Last week, we covered expired listings. It was last week, the week before. Expired listings. Please write this down. I want you to go find the expireds in your marketplace today, like this afternoon. You have time to do it today or tomorrow. I want you to pull the list of expired listings from the last 3 weeks, but most importantly, from the last year. Go back 12 months. In fact, go back 18 or 24 months. Make sure they didn't relist and sell. And now you have a pipeline of expired leads that you can go prospect. And let me tell you, use my model, you use my script, it's got an 85% conversion rate to an appointment the first time you call them. But you've been told expireds don't work. I will tell you right now, it's the best way to grab more market share. It's the best way to increase your listings and buyers. Most expireds are going to be 2 sales, right? Because they're going to buy a replacement home from you. It's brilliant. It works. They're the most qualified free lead on the planet. They're literally free leads. Work it the way that I show you to do it, and you'll be extremely effective, right? I actually, if you didn't watch that and you got the replay, watch it. If you were here, execute it, right? This is like training, coaching, mentorship, all the learning is not going to do any good if you don't implement any of it. So the implementation process is what has to happen. Like you have to have action behind all of this. Again, your biggest reason for not achieving success is all about not having enough leads in your pipeline. And that income roller coaster ride is real. The income roller coaster is real. It doesn't have to be. It can be over and you can get off the roller coaster ride anytime you want. When you think about having, I'm going to pull this slide up. When you think about having a pipeline that is forever long, it's like the Alaskan pipeline, it goes on forever. You will always be putting people into the sales process. And the sales process, right? We don't know. Like A people can be A people and start out, they're going to buy in the next 60 days. But a C person, meaning a 6 months and over, that person, right? That person might be an A person much quicker than we thought. And the problem is that you discount those people. And that's our biggest, when I look at people's pipelines and they say, oh, I don't have anybody serious or solid or ready to go and they just miss this whole thing. It's a huge, huge opportunity for you to massively increase your business. When you see this on the pipeline, when you see $10 million on the pipeline, I think you're going to do what every agent does. Their eyes get big. They're like, oh my God, right? I had no idea, which is why I named it the gold mine pipeline. Agents are sitting on a gold mine. You don't realize it. Stop procrastinating. Please just put pen to paper. I will tell you right now, you have more business than you even realize. And what bothers me the most is like you're floundering around, okay? Like you're floundering around and you don't have to. This Go My Pipeline system will be the solution that will get you out of crisis selling and into a highly productive, highly predictable, highly consistent pipeline. We take people, one of my favorite stories, woman was making $40,000 at her job, not in real estate, and she had to get, she said, I have to make this real estate work because I'm about to have my second child and I can't pay for daycare for 2. And that's not an option. And she was literally in tears on this call with me. And I said, no problem. Will you do everything I tell you to do? And she said, yes. And I said, great. Now she had already booked 3 listing appointments before talking to me from the podcast. And so she said, I thought maybe you could help me and I could sign up for coaching. So hesitantly, with a very tight budget, she signed up for coaching and she said, I know you're going to help me. In fact, this woman I just met last night said, your confidence is giving me confidence. I said, good. That's how we do this. Now, wherever you are, if you're comfortable, and that's great. I'm happy for you. If you're comfortable and you still want to grow, fabulous. This does not matter whether you are brand new or whether you have 30 years in the business, 40 years in the business. It will literally catapult you to a whole nother level. But again, if you haven't downloaded, I saw a bunch of people did this. So the QR code will get you this is the same link that Liz put in the chat. This is your secret to predictable and consistent monthly income. And on some of these calls in the next few months, I'm going to have agents talk about what they did, how they did it, what changed, how they implemented this. Cordell's story about going from, $9 million, 0 to $9 million in an afternoon, 1 hour session. We sat, filled it out. It was $9 million. He went to his car and he said, I probably should call some of these people. That's the point of no return. That's the point of meteoric success for him because he took action and he said, I'm going to call these people. I'm going to get an appointment with them. Okay. He came out of that with 3 listing appointments, you guys. 3 listing appointments. And then listed all 3 of them. We're talking from 0 to an $18 million pipeline in 6 weeks. Why? Because he put down every single person, right? When you follow this, it's super easy. Like, I get that you're like, oh my gosh, that's not how I was taught. I totally get it, but this is a very easy method. You don't have a method like this, and your CRM is currently not going to give you this strategy because the CRM is just a database of awesomeness that will email all these people and text them and put a plan together, etc. But it's certainly not going. It's certainly not. I'm going to show this slide because this is kind of we're going to cover this in this. We're really going to cover this granularly. You look at this, and here's the deal. Like, you need 1.5 times what you want to make. So if I want to make 36 sales happen, 36 sales can happen. I need to have 54 leads. And that can be split up 30 buyer leads, 30 listing leads. I rounded it up to 60, as you saw. 30 buyer leads, 30 listing leads, 36 transactions. You'll probably close 40 plus because we are giving you a 15% slush. Like, we're giving you 15% aren't going to happen. Okay. So you have to fill it though. And, you need future business. Like, you are literally future proofing your business, recession proofing, anything proofing. Okay. This is about literally playing the long game. And I know that I've said it, but you need 6 to 12 months from now, you're going to need business. So when people say, like, I love when people say to me, I'm not buying for a year though, sorry. And I go, that's okay. I'm not going anywhere. So I tell people, and I want you to do the same. In fact, what happens is the next thing that I say to them is, I go, like, in my head, I'm like, yes, I need business a year from now. You're filling the business a year from now. That's the difference. That's what agents don't think about is long-term gain from playing the long game. You will always have a short game. You will always have business if you follow this model. It is not like any other model. It's going to revolutionize the way you look at the lead, how you follow up with it, all of it. I mentioned this 80%. I'll tell you that if you're not, like, people are where they are. If they're ghosting you, that's part of the process. They're gonna ghost you for months. They're gonna ghost you for months. I had someone not call me for 11 months. I called them twice a month religiously. They didn't want to see how, they didn't ask, they didn't write me back. They didn't tell me to stop. And they chose me because they said, you followed up with us. You were top of mind. We know 12 real estate agents in Solon, Ohio. We want you. And they actually said, because we know you will follow up on every lead in marketing our home. Like, that wasn't part of my strategy. It became part of my strategy. So if 80% of sales are made after 5 contacts, you have to have a follow-up plan. You have to have a system. If you don't have one, that's just what we do. We actually create these for you. We help you create them, and we give you the turnkey, like, here's the plan. In fact, when we do this event for 3 days, you'll get an invite to a webinar, how to build a $10 million pipeline, or I think it's 15, how to build a $15 million pipeline. You'll come to that webinar, you'll join the 3-day summit. And in that summit, it is a nominal cost. I think it's $97 for VIP. When you join that, you'll get all of these amazing tips on how to build a 160-day follow-up campaign. We just give it to you. So you'll love it. Now, what you need to do today, probably if you haven't done this or you don't know about Sherri Johnson Coaching and the different ways we can coach you, we have a product called Playbook that is a monthly subscription. You can get into Playbook at $99 a month with one coaching call. It's pretty amazing. Liz will drop that into the chat. The second thing that I want to share with you is that we obviously offer one-to-one coaching. If you're interested, you can check out our pricing at sherrijohnson.com /get started. You can, if you just go sherrijohnson.com, we do offer the pro and premium and team packages. You can look those over. But probably the best way, and my suggestion, is that you just schedule a call with us. We have a scheduled strategy call that is complimentary. You can scan the QR code here. Liz will drop it into the chat, and this call is no obligation, and she already did. And so here's the deal. Take advantage of this. This is where that woman realized she had $15 million. She was screaming at the end of the call. You have more in your pipeline. We can find it. We can help you discover it. So download the Gold My Pipeline. Then go into here and schedule your call for next week on the calendar. You'll get right onto our calendar. We will meet with you. We will talk about what's working, what's not working, what you need, what's on your pipeline. If you need help with the pipeline, we can help you with that. We can give you some lead generation strategies. At the very least, right, help you kick off the 4-month push that you're going to start right now, the beginning of September, for 4 solid months of high level, high energy activities that will produce results. Take advantage of this call. If you've already had the call in the past couple of months, probably give those slots to people who haven't had them yet, or just jump on and start coaching. Our average ROI for an agent is $150,000 of new income from our coaching program. I would welcome that conversation with you. We are excited because we're having this 3-day challenge in September. So I'm giving you kind of a sneak peek at this. Details will be in your inbox. When you get emails from me, there's a code in there, a checkbox rather, for you to opt in to emails, opt in to text messages. I have an exciting thing coming out. You will love it. It's daily. It's a daily dose of Sherri that's coming out. If you want to subscribe to that, opt into our text so that we can send those to you. Opt in. I think you're probably already in the email, but we will be sending those out via email every day with an action item tip and a mindset strategy and secret tip that will help you compete at a higher level and win, and also help you win the day every day in real estate sales, working less, making more, and getting to where you want to get to, while working less. I say you can make another 300 grand while working less and working smarter when you have a full pipeline, guys. When you have a full pipeline, you are so calm. You have control over your business. You're not running around crazily putting out fires. You're going to have that occasionally, but it's not going to be every day. You'll have consistent and predictable income. You'll love it. You'll love what it does. It's the number one thing that I get thanked on, or people tell me is the most valuable tool. There are several, I think, in addition to Go My Pipeline, but boy, this thing will change your life. You have to implement it though. First, schedule the call. I will see you guys next week on our masterclass. We will have another great session. Anybody have any questions? I think where am I getting out of here? There we go. If you have a question, if there's something, some other people got on. If you have a question, raise your hand. If you're good and you've downloaded the Go My Pipeline or you set up your strategy call, awesome. I can't wait to see you on the call and we will go over what you need to be successful for the next 4 months. My goal for you is that in January, right, 4 months from now, you're looking at January with $3 to $5 million in closings. Wouldn't that be awesome? Won't that be awesome? You're welcome, and good to see you. Say hi to everybody. I want you to know it can and will happen, but you have to be the first person to believe it. Okay? Thank you. I'll see you all next Thursday, same time, 1 o'clock Eastern. We'll have an unbelievable conversation. In the meantime, schedule that strategy call if you haven't done it yet. And I'm Sherri Johnson. I'll see you guys next week. Have a great one. Bye bye.